Excuse me.
I suppose, and I want to say this because my people know that I will fight for them. And it's all right for people here behind, some who may not even be from our village, to have a bit of a katakata or laugh. But I can tell you that walking into a room with strong-headed developers is not easy, but I've got used to it. And I can also say, and you know, no one can ever say I have not fought for my people. Why? Because I actually led the court case against the Wallaces in 2011. And we paid for the lawyers, and we fought very, 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 very hard. And some of those kaumātua are here today. So no one can say that I have not fought, but I will say that in the negotiations, and as I said, only if they were going to build, then we wanted something to come back to our village. And if that's the case, that's what I have negotiated for, to come back to our village. That includes housing. So it's, if it's going to go ahead, we want something out of that.
Kia ora mātua. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, Councillor Arthur.
Te Ronga, just a quick question. Do you and the Marae stand together with the Soul Group for the council to find a solution?
Look, we've had our differences. That's okay. I can tell you that you show me one marae where there are not differences. But at the end of the day, we are all still whānau. But we have our differences, and sometimes they can be worked through, sometimes they can't. The door's always open.
I guess my question is, we're sitting here with the councillors to find a solution to the problem. I want to know, are we united out there to go forward?
You just said. I think I answered that.
Yeah. Yep. You can only ask that question so many ways, Arthur.
I get so many answers.
Yeah. And the answer will be the same every time. Right. Te warana to yourself, and Emily, and our young rangatira there. Can I please move a recommendation that your presentation be received? Councillor Penny, seconder. All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
It's against passing. Right, cheers.
Thank you.
Kia ora. Soul team, can you come back to the table, please?
Thank you. Good one, and a big thank you. He was fantastic.
Okay, councillors, questions to the representatives from Soul. Councillor Cathy.
I'm interested to know what your response is to what you've just heard.
We acknowledge, and we have from the beginning of this process, we have grown knowing well the struggles that our ancestors, right up to our matua here Te Warena, have faced since what the time that the presentation has been made. But we are here as the next generation to say that we will continue the fight. We will continue. And that we are here to uphold the mana of those that have gone before us and walked in those shoes. But we ask that you include us in those discussions. We are here to support you.
Kia ora.
Yeah, and just to add on from what Waima's just said, if we can just refer you back to the two CIAs that were given by the two iwi, both stated that this development was inappropriate. We can just take it to be there, and just the history of the fight that has gone on. From there, you will know that the iwi and the people have always opposed to this development. Kia ora.
The future residential development in Stonefields, Mount Wellington is the model for this development. We know the cost of those homes. A home suitable for any family of the Manukau ward is a 3-bedroom, 3-terrace level house to the tune of $800,000 to $900,000. The 10% of the 480 homes that will be suitable for the families of the Manukau ward at $500,000, where We looked at a map that shows the income mean for the Manukau ward. We are the lowest. We are in the red. These houses are not for our people. And to determine if affordability is at $500,000 at a 10% deposit, $50,000, where do we get that money from? At the same time, a lot of the whānau residents who live in Ihumātao don't actually own their homes. I'm a classic example. We rent, okay? We have landlords of our own family homes because we simply could not afford. I don't see a viable solution for our whānau. The Waikato Tainui had started a development many years ago that we have had confirmation from them that they are ready to sit at the table and complete so that it is affordable, so that we do have homes for our whānau to come home to. To be honest, there is an exodus. A lot of our people are leaving Ihumātao simply because they cannot afford, and it will continue if this development goes ahead. People are currently making plans, but they will make a last stand, like Rewi Maniapoto, ka whawhai tonu mātou. Because this is our birthright. Our whenua is that. And that is as simple as it is.
Mr Mayor, I had another question. It relates to the legal advice with regard to the revocation. I presume that Sol has had legal advice with regard to who can revoke. The previous speaker said that the Minister couldn't. What's your understanding of the revocation process through your legal advice?
We might just take this time to invite our lawyer, Cameron Hockley, up, if that's okay.
Yep.
Can we please?
Kia ora tātou. In relation to that question, the situation seems to be clear that the Minister has made sure by the legislation that his hands are tied and that those conditions need to be changed. But through the Governor-General, as you note, there is a different process. So there is a way of attempting to convince the Governor-General. However, that still is a very high threshold.
Yeah.
So the order of doing things then is the Council, the Government, the Governor-General, or is it the Council, the Governor-General, the Government?
In terms of the revocation, I think the revocation is the right gesture. I don't think it changes the status. And then following from that, it would be a form of an appeal to the Governor-General.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Right. Fine.
Sure. The question that I put to you is that what you're suggesting occurs is there is another area of land that's put in the mix to try and negotiate a new deal. And I'm assuming that that new deal that you're proposing involves a larger area of land around Stonefields that is effectively preserved, reserved.
Yeah, if any of you have had a chance to look at the Fletcher plans, they have designed a housing estate to fit within the confines and the constraints of the archaeological area. A big part of Puki Tāpapa Tanga Hape extends into that Fletcher's block that they plan to buy. That has an area, an overlay of geological significance. Fletcher's is not giving that back out of the goodness of their heart. They are not allowed to build on it. That contains the urupa. If you're familiar with the land, it is a very wet land. There is bogs, there are springs in one part of it. The 80-metre strip that Fletcher's said they're going to give back to the community, give back to the iwi, is their stormwater system. That is where the stormwater will pond. It will be the lakes. They have to include that to meet the requirements of a modern subdivision, so that what water they discharge into the Orurangi Awa is not contaminated. That system, a beautifully designed, engineered system, fantastic. It's good that they've designed it like that, but that is not actually out of the generosity of their heart. That's because they have to build that. And fortunately, in some ways, it's along the boundary of the Papakainga. But it's not Fletcher's being generous in giving it back. It's not Fletcher's returning the maunga. The issue that Te Warana raised, he really should raise with the council. The council owns Puketa Papa Tanga Hape, and it would be a wonderful gesture if that was. It would be a wonderful gesture if that was returned. I agree with you, brother. But The 33 hectares along at Ascot Road gives is a different arrangement. It's got sea views. It's next to the beautiful park of wastewater care that's promoting it in your rates bill that you got just the other day. You would have had an invitation to go down to see Auckland's best kept secret. This is what $500 million of ratepayers' money has got for us. We have a world-class facility that no longer needs these surrounding areas because there is no smell. All the biosolids have been dealt with, the sludge has been dealt with, it's been landscaped. 100,000 trees have been planted while we're here right now. That's going on right now. They've created a beautiful landscape that will free up that land that is no longer required for the purposes of their consent for the commissioning of the new plant. That's what we're talking about. It's connected to Mangere. 5 minutes walk to George Bolt Drive. The new rail tunnel that you've paid $32 million to build is 5 minutes walk from this subdivision. There are 8 bus routes that go 5 minutes walk, 8 bus routes on Kirkby Road, hospitals, there's an ambulance plant, there's an ATM, there's a post office, there's tattooists, there's tattoo removers, there's food, there's whatever you want. It's in walking distance. And if we're going to create this model of a livable city, if we're going to use the SHA and all the provisions that it gives developers to intensify, to go higher, then this is a chance to build it on this piece of land and really model what we're talking about. Penny mentioned that she is desperate for more houses. She's desperate that developers start using what the provisions in this Act. Well, Penny, this land will give you a chance to actually talk to developers and make a living example of what we're talking about here. And the people that live there won't need cars if they don't.
So then what happens to 545 Ororangi Road is that we continue to protect, preserve and save it, and that currently we're working on an application to have it recognised as a World Heritage Site. So that is another step we are taking. And then we honour the Mangere Gateway Heritage Project and look at tourism initiatives.
Yeah. Okay, kia ora. Right, Councillor Penny H.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Kia ora to the members of SOL and I just want to acknowledge, along with my colleague, Councillor Linda Te Warana as well. We all have a long and very respectful relationship over many decades. My question now follows neatly on from that last statement. And I guess, Mr Mayor, we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves in a way, where there are two very separate issues. There's the revocation, or I think what was put very clearly by the lawyer, the revocation is a gesture. So, let's be a little bit honest about what can and can't be achieved here. There's also the future of this critical piece of land and the fact that it has been rezoned. We lost in the Environment Court. We stood side by side with the marae and the local community. We fought to keep that as open space. We lost in the Environment Court. The battle's been had. We've lost that. It has been changed. The zoning has been changed. So my question follows on from if a land swap, if Watercare / council simply cannot make a land swap work, if there's a mind to look at the land swap, SHA or no SHA, land now zoned for housing and building. The only way that that's going to change is either a land swap happens or we purchase that land. So, we need to, well, hang on, before, I know it's all very easy to clap and applaud. I'm not saying let's buy the land, so, I need to be really honest about that. The reality is, and I can see councillors, we're all leaning into this. This is a really heartstrings issue. This is our communities come to us with kind of tears and heart and aroha for this land, but we need to be really honest about what we can and can't do here. I don't think if councillors are honest, we cannot just go out and buy every bit of
Penny,
land.
you need to ask
I'm
the
going to
question
ask
here.
my question, but I'm not planning on speaking for the rest of this entire meeting, I think. So we need to be honest about that. I also think, Mr Mayor, there's been an awful lot of build-up about what this council can and can't do, so I'm just trying to kind of manage expectations. If we cannot, we either decide today that we're going to go into discussions with Watercare or not go into discussions with Watercare, with the greatest of respect to our people who've signed the SHA revocation, that's a side issue. the SHA is immaterial to this. This is a big bunch of people who own this piece of land and who are going to build on it, SHA or not SHA. So I think SHA sideshow. Mr Mayor, my question is, and does Sol agree, that the issue for them is more about land swap as a way forward? I think I'm hearing from them that they're also understanding that SHA, not SHA, is kind of a bit of a side issue, apart from timeframes. Thoughts?
Firstly, I was going to say that in terms of the Environment Court process, the land, the SHA land, has been zoned future urban, and the step that then would have to be taken is again to get it rezoned one more time. So there is still another stage, which could involve the Environment Court, and that question of protection will pop up again, even if that proceeds.
But yeah, I think you're right on there, Penny. We could get bogged down in these layers of legal challenges, and essentially you're dead right. The issue is, if we can negotiate a land swap, we short circuit all of that unnecessary bureaucratic hassling, and if we can come to a far better resolution, then we would love it. I'll give you another hug.
Okay, we're just trying to work out where the debate is. Thanks, Mr Mayor.
Right, I think councillors, that's probably enough of a discussion. We need to now get to a piece of advice from our officials and then decision making. To Waimaria and the team, thank you very much for your presentation on behalf of the community. We've received your petition. Now we're going to receive some advice and make some decisions. Kia ora koutou katoa.